You lead the meeting sure the loud guy ran it. He talked the most, pushed hardest, filled every pause. But the decision went the way someone else wanted. Someone who barely said 20 words all hour. You've seen this 100 times and never questioned it. The quiet one in the corner, nodding slowly. The one everyone glanced at right before deciding. We assume talking is power. Watch that scene again. The person who said the least shaped the most. Here's what your eyes kept sliding right past. Talking feels like control. It usually isn't. Every sentence you speak gives something away. Your position, your limits, what you're afraid of. The loud person is broadcasting their whole hand. The quiet person is reading it for free. Picture the last argument you thought you won. You pressed your point until they finally went quiet. You left feeling like the winner. They left knowing exactly what moves you. Your buttons, your logic, where you bend. You spent the whole time, they just collected it. So who actually walked away ahead? Here's the mechanism, and it isn't manipulation. It starts with a small itch in your chest. A pause in conversation feels strangely unbearable. 3 seconds of silence, and someone always caves. Usually the person least comfortable being watched. Your mind treats a silent gap as a problem. An open loop it desperately wants to close. So you talk just to make the discomfort stop, and you rarely notice you're the one who broke. The quiet person only has to wait. They let your own discomfort do the work. Silence isn't empty, it's a slow question. And most people answer it without being asked. You've done this standing at a car dealership. The salesman names a price, then says nothing. You start negotiating against yourself to fill the air. That gap wasn't awkward by accident. Someone learned that silence makes you talk. Now stretch that across a whole conversation. Every time you fill a pause, you reveal. Every reveal narrows what you can still hide. The talker builds the other person's map of them. Brick by brick, sentence by sentence. Meanwhile, the quiet one stays a blank wall. You can't corner or persuade a blank wall. You don't even know what they actually want. So you keep guessing, and guessing means talking. And talking means handing over more. This is why interrogators say almost nothing. They ask one question, then let it hang. The room fills with the suspect's own voice. No pressure needed, just patience and a pause. The same thing runs quiet family dinners. One parent barely speaks, yet the table orbits them. Everyone's performing for the one keeping score. Their silence became the loudest thing in the room. There's a second layer, subtler than the first. We read restraint as a sign of strength. The person not rushing to speak seems full, like they already know and don't need you to agree. Watch how a room quiets when they finally do. Words used sparingly land heavier by contrast. You lean in, you assume it must matter. It's the same reason a whisper turns heads. Scarcity makes ordinary things feel valuable. The person always talking becomes background noise. You tune them out like a running faucet. Their best point drowns in their 10th point. The quiet one saved their words for just one, so that single line carried all the weight. We mistake volume for confidence constantly, but real confidence has nothing left to prove. It can sit in a pause without flinching, and that stillness reads to us as control. Now the part almost everyone gets wrong. You think control means winning the exchange, getting the last word, the final rebuttal. But the last word isn't where power lives. Power lives in who defines the question. Watch the quiet person's rare sentences closely. They almost never argue your points head on. Instead, they quietly reframe what's being discussed. That's fair, but the real issue is this. And suddenly the whole room debates their frame. You're still talking, but now on their terms. You're answering a question they chose for you. That's the move you never see happening. Not louder arguing. A quieter change of subject. The talker fights hard to win the map. The quiet one simply redraws the map. Whoever sets the frame wins before you speak. And they said it with almost no words. That's the reveal you were missing all along. Control was never about talking more. It's aiming. Now, this isn't a trick to run on people. Used coldly, it's just quiet manipulation. And people feel that emptiness eventually. The point isn't to say less, to win. It's to notice what your own talking costs you. How often you fill silence out of nerves. How much you give away chasing approval. How rarely you let a question just breathe. Awareness first, the skill comes after. So here's what you actually do with this. Next conversation, try one small thing. When you finish a thought, actually stop. Don't rush to soften it or pile on more. Count 1, 2, 3 in your head. Let the silence sit there, fully. Watch who moves first to fill it. That tells you who wants what, right now. Then, before you argue anyone's point, ask yourself whose question you're answering. If it isn't yours, name a better one. Quietly, once, then let it land. You'll feel the room turn toward you. Not because you got loud, because you aimed. Say less, but let the little you say pick the topic. The quietest person isn't hiding, they're listening. And listening is just collecting while others spend. So, in your next meeting, spend a little less. Leave a few pauses you'd normally rush to fill. If this reframed how you hear a room, subscribe for more. Watch one real conversation this week with new eyes. Notice who's talking, then notice who's aiming.